Episode number 145 of Making the Case. If you're going to marry young. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? We back at you again with another episode of Making the Case. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. Yes, episode number 145. And we're talking about why you should get married young. But before we continue, we got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points in our people. And then two, we don't do all that cussing derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional. We like to keep it articulate. Okay. But yes, as you heard in the introduction, we're talking about why you should marry young. Now, let me say this before we move any further. Okay. My stance on marriage is that you definitely should be looking to get married if you want to start a family, right? Now, if you actually hear some crazy noises while I'm doing this stream, it's my very neurotic son downstairs on the game, and him and his friends don't have no sense. Okay, so you have to excuse me. But anywho, back to what I was saying. That to me, marriage should be reserved for family, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't get married if you're not planning on having kids and building a legacy. That's not what I'm saying. But if you do plan on having kids, I think you should get married. That's just my opinion. For anybody else, hey, do what you do. Just keep it legit, keep it honest, keep it transparent, and just don't lie and mess over people. Right? Sounds simple enough, but as we know, it's not that simple. But based on the topic, right? If you're going to get married, you should get married young, right? But we've been told the opposite, right? Guess what we've been told? We've been told that, yeah, when you're young, have fun. Sow your royal oats and all this other crap, right? But then you look 10, 15 years down the line and you've had all this experience, and some people kind of get addicted to the lifestyle. And then if you're a lady, you had all the experience and you done racked up all these bodies. And then you don't look the same, or you might mess around and had a kid out of wedlock. So a lot of things can happen if you wait, right? The best thing you could do is get married young, grow together, build wealth together, things of that nature. Okay, so I have 3 video clips that are going to kind of touch on some of them things, and we're just going to talk about it and see what you think about it. All right, but without further ado, let's get into my first clip, shall we?
Getting married at an age where they actually are able to grow up with one another, because your wife shapes you and you shape her, and that makes you both better people. When I married my wife, I just turned 24 and she was 20. We've spent our lives growing up together, right? I mean, now I'm 38 and she's 35, and that's a long time to spend, half her life, basically we've spent together, and that means that you grow and you change and you have experiences, and then you bring kids into the world, and that radically changes you even more than just the marriage. People aren't getting
and I think Ben Shapiro is on the money, and now I can say that I don't always agree with all the things Ben Shapiro says, but on this point I think he's on the money. I think what getting married young affords you is to build together and for you all to be on the same page, right? More than likely you're on the same page mentally, emotionally, financially, right? Which means you're aligned. You're more likely to be aligned the younger you are versus getting older and now maybe you got a gap. Now you probably have experienced different things, particularly men and women as they age. Their experience is going to be different, especially depending on how attractive a woman is. So, but when you're younger, you get it. Both of y'all are broke, right? So a lot of your experiences are going to be tied to each other, and you get to grow and build together. And I think there's more of a likelihood, and I haven't done the research on this, of you sticking together and staying in a marriage when you have that type of understanding. But all right, let's get to our next clip.
People are just waiting too long to get serious about getting married. The lie that my generation was sold and that the next generation after mine was also sold, is that your 20s, the first decade of adulthood, is a time to be aimless and lazy and selfish and focused primarily on recreation and pleasure. And this is totally backwards, because that stage of life, the kind of aimless, do what you want, have fun life stage, if that comes at all, that's supposed to be on the back end of life, not the front. Okay, that's what your 70s can be about, not your 20s. Now, it's never good to live a selfish life at any age, but if you work hard and you have success and you manage to retire comfortably, then in your 70s and 80s, you can live a life of leisure where every day is basically focused on recreation. Young adulthood should not be that, though. It should be a time where your youthful energy is directed towards building the foundations of a happy and successful life. And for most people, marriage should be a part of that foundation. Many people are.
And I think, to add on to what Ben Shapiro was saying, Matt Walsh is also on the money. A lot that I know my generation, I think we're around the same age, we definitely was told was that, hey, you can put off marriage, right? Go get your education, go get your money, particularly men, right? It was sold to both men and women, but for men, hey, go make the money so that later on, when you got the money, you can take care of a wife, right? And then women was, hey, live your hot girl summers and, go live and be free. And then you can get the husband later. So we both was kind of sold the same dream, but a different one. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing the ramifications of it, right? So we waited, and then some of us are still waiting, right? Or some of us are in a situation where, like, we'll get settled and stable in a career, and now we have all these standards and things that we expect of our partner, and we find it hard to find somebody because we didn't get comfortable, we didn't get settled, right? But the younger you are, I'm not saying that you're more likely to put up with things, but you're at a place where, like I said, y'all more equally yoked when it comes to the careers, because a lot of times you're in college, you build it, or you're just out there in the workforce. So um now the part where you're saying on the end you can have your fun, more than likely when you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, you just want to chill out, right? But I agree from the standpoint is, well, no, you build together when you're young and build this life, then both of y'all can, you know, as us Westerners say, West Tennessee that is, put up. Okay. That's why I think it's very beneficial to get married at a young age. All right. I got one more clip and it's gonna wrap this up, put that bow on it. Let's get into it.
Is it better to marry rich or build wealth together? You may be surprised at my answer, and here it is. Build it together. That's the bond that ties. Some of the greatest marriages, well, mine, for example, started with nothing. We had pizza at our wedding because we couldn't afford anything else. But we built it together, and we're still together because you're proud of building a family. And the bonds that tie are family and money. You can't build a family without money. Money is a family member. And if you're successful and you don't outspend each other, that's a bond that can last a very long time.
The best thing to do then would be to get married young. And I would encourage you, younger men, don't rush into marriage and get the wrong gal, but do look at getting married young. If she marries you when you're young, when you're broke, when you're getting started, you know all about her motives and intentions. And then the two of you can work together to build your wealth and to manage and steward it. One of the things we wrongly tell, especially young men, is wait till you're generating a lot of revenue and then get married. Well, you're going to be older, and also you may not then have total clarity on her motivation. She may see you as an ATM for her lifestyle and not just your best friend who wants to be your wife. Grace married me. We were flat broke in college. We're together. It's worked out great. I'm just telling you, the best thing to do, get married. You'll make more money because you have to, especially when your wife gets pregnant.
And there it is right there. I think that, for the most part, what we're talking about is, and I know a lot of people are concerned with financial security, right? But what best way in order to build wealth, in order to have financial security, is to find a mate or a partner that you're aligned with and that y'all can do it together. That way, as you rising through the ranks, even if it don't work out, right? At least, hopefully, two people can come together and say, well, we can split this down the middle because we built it together. Versus, like you said, waiting to get to a man that's established, then a woman come in, then you get divorced. Then this is the story you keep seeing a lot of time nowadays. There's a woman that's trying to take a man for having stuff, but she didn't help build it, right? So it's a different conversation if you get married young, right? So, but like he said, that of course you want to be careful who you choose, and I think that is the most important part, because unfortunately, a lot of us who are young, and of course, it racially it looks different, right? Because Black Americans just don't get to live in a household and see marriage enough, right? Not seeing marriage, not having somebody coach you and mentor you on how to vet and what to look for in a partner is a problem, right? So you'll definitely need somebody to help you coach you through and not hold your hand, but in order to help you vet people, right? Because at the end of the day, you still, whether you get married young or old, you still got to find somebody that's aligned with you, that rocks with you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and all that good stuff. Okay. Hey man, we're gonna end the video on that. Let me know what you think. Should we get married young or should we wait till we get more established? Let me know. Leave your comments on it. And of course, you know I always appreciate you for rocking with me. But as always, I am you, you are me, love always, love return. Remember, the worst thing you do is lie to yourself. And we out. Deuces.